Just how big is this second test, not only in the context of this summer, but also for the future of this Australian group? No Hazlewood, fitness concerns over Marsh, up against an India side that's only about to get stronger. And aren't the legends loving it? Sunny stirs the pot. Plus, the Aussie women are also about to take on India as we get a glimpse of life after Alyssa Healy. Let's go around the wicket. Welcome to Around the Wicket as we build up to the second test of the Border-Gavaskar Trophy. I'm Nerily Meadows, Aaron Finch back alongside me, and Lisa Sthalekar, the Hall of Famer, who I might add, a couple of weeks ago when you were on, you set the agenda. Concerns over Marsh as the only all-rounder and his body holding up. Talk about Adam Zampa and the Sheffield Shield, and hasn't that become quite the story? So, Lisa, you're all over it.
Yeah, I can't wait to what we discuss today and then see what happens in 2 weeks' time.
You're the Oracle. You're the Oracle.
The Oracle, we love it. I tell you what, somebody else who has got their cricket bat out to stir the giant pot is our great mate, Sunny Gavaskar. He has come out in an article and said, the panic in the Australian ranks is palpable. Former players calling for heads to be chopped off and some hinting at cracks in the Australian team after Josh Hazlewood's media interview, where he suggested that it was up to the batters to now do something. Now Hazlewood is out of the second test with a supposed side strain. Strange, since nobody had noticed anything wrong with Hazlewood at that media conference. Mystery, the like of which used to be common in Indian cricket in the past. Now it's the Aussies, and like old MacDonald, I'm simply loving it.
I think that's the one true fact. He's simply loving it, right? Yeah. He is stirring the pot. We've all been fortunate enough to work with him. He is cheeky.
He's so cheeky. But I feel like this is almost Ashes-esque in building the rivalry up. The fact that Sunny is coming in and almost like Michael Vaughan type jabs.
Yeah, well, it's not jabs anymore. Sunny's throwing haymakers over the top. And it's quite funny, actually, because having spent a lot of time with him in the first test, he was not saying things like that. He was still very respectful of the current Australian group, and yeah, they had a bad day, but they'll bounce back. Now he's just gone bang. But I like it, Sunny. I like it.
Oh, he's just great fun to hang out with. We'll talk more about the second test with Michael Clarke shortly. But a big announcement coming through in the last couple of days. Todd Greenberg has been announced the new CEO of Cricket Australia, something that was probably on the cards as former ACA CEO. What do you think about this call, Lise?
He's a wonderful stakeholder manager. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what he'll do potentially at an ICC level. Obviously, things will obviously need to be looked after here in Australia, in cricket here, but I think he's going to be a strong voice at the CEC board level.
Yeah, I think it's a great appointment. Todd's done some great things with the ACA. Obviously, he's got a great history in sport in Australia, but he's such a good networker. He's such a good policy holder, I guess, and he's somebody who he's got the respect of all the players. And I think having seen the game from the side of the players over the last couple of years as well, I think that'll be really good for both the playing group, the stakeholders, Cricket Australia, everyone.
I remember having some great conversations with him in the Pakistan Test Series, that long-awaited Test Series. He went over to Pakistan for that, and he absolutely had the players' perspectives in mind through all of that. But as you alluded to, Lise, it's an interesting time because the ICC has also had a shift in leadership, and it will be Jay Shah who becomes the chairman of the ICC. What does it mean for the world of cricket?
Well, he's been very successful in BCCI, media deals, World Cups. So I expect him, when he comes into that ICC position, he's spoken about potentially a test fund, so ensuring that test cricket stays and potentially paying other players or players from a fund and an equal footing, because we're not instead of losing players to T20 cricket. And also he was the one that kind of started the Women's Premier League cricket, and I do feel that he's shown that you can commercialise women's sport, so I can't wait for him to do exactly the same thing at an ICC level. Sounds
like Lisa's keeping a close eye on watch this space. What do you think, Finchy?
Yeah, great. I think, like Lee said, all the stuff that he's done with the BCCI, I mean, the game in India has never been in a stronger place. I think the way that India is a difficult place to navigate politically in the cricket landscape, with so many stakeholders, with so many people invested in the game, but the first class system being huge as well, and he's handled that very well.
Well, it's going to be an interesting time to just watch what happens between Todd Greenberg, Jay Shah and the leadership group in the world of cricket. Don't go anywhere though, because we're going to bring in a man who's known for his leadership. Clarke is up next to chat about the second test in Adelaide, a day-nighter.
Hitting heaps of ball. Chilling out. Bit of Christmas with the family. Close friend got married on Saturday as well, so and a test match luncheon on Friday. I didn't even know about Hoff until I read the paper, so wrong person to ask to see how blokes are going. As a batter myself, I try and hold a lot of pride in what I do, and knowing that if I can set it up for the big boys, that they can knock it down for us. So, but definitely no divide. I remember that it was a quick test, so that was good. We got to enjoy all of the bits of Adelaide after that test match and go to Penfolds, and it was a lovely week. So it'd be nice to do that again. Yeah, it's a good week. It's a fun week. Look, I'm not going to lie, I'm looking forward to the years when I finish and I go out the back. I haven't had many of those opportunities over the last few years, so by playing, it's nice to play against that. It's going to be nice to go back and look at your back of your career and go, tell the grandkids that you faced him.
Oh, Travis Head. We love him because he's a relaxed character and down to earth, but do we want to see just a little bit more desperation and hurt after such a big loss? Clarke joins us now. Pup, what do you think?
I think when you win, you get away with whatever you like. When you lose, we ask these questions. Well, it's a man in form. Travis Head's not too concerned about his batting, listening to that. He's in good form. He's coming off runs. He's a super chill guy, Travi, as well. So, look, I feel like I seem to say this every week on this show. I understand where he's coming from because of the person he is, because I know Travi is a guy. But I can understand why you're asking me these questions, Nez. I just think, I don't know. If anything, maybe do we, when we lose, should we be a little bit more careful? It's a lot like, when you lose and you shake someone's hand, if there's a camera on you and you're seen smiling with the opposition player, Australian fans get frustrated with that. It's really like they want you to be, show that you're upset and you're sad. I don't think that, Trav being himself hides how much he is disappointed about the first test. I think that's real and you can't hide that. I think it just shows more Trav's character, that he's super chilled, he's laid back, he's been away from the game. It also shows a different role of someone that's not a leader in the team. When you're captain, vice captain, coach, selector, CEO, you know every single thing that's going on. You are connected 24/7. Sometimes when you're a player, you can get away from that. You can worry about yourself. And as he said, he didn't know about Josh Hazlewood until he read it in the paper. I guarantee Pat Cummins knew about Josh Hazlewood. So, I understand the predicament, but I can understand your question. And yeah, maybe, I don't know. Let's see if Australia don't perform in this test. Let's see if it's as chilled after the second test match.
Pup, to me, that sounds like a long-winded way of saying nothing.
Yeah, well, welcome to the world of being in that position,
Exactly.
Finchie, as you know. I'm pretty sure I've answered questions exactly the same.
Exactly right. And I think we always want players to be themselves and be genuine. If Travis Head wasn't being genuine, you'd see right through it. So I think exactly what Pup said. Like you take the good with the bad and you understand people's personalities. Travis Head's not someone that you want stressing about the game. He's not somebody who you want consuming everything about the game and being across all the decisions, because that would do his head in after a while. And you want it fresh and almost carefree, not careless, carefree Travis Head when he walks out to bat. And I think
good call.
That's just part and parcel with having to front the media and look like he just got out of bed, to be fair.
Is there a part as a captain, though, where you're like, I love you being yourself, but could you be just a little bit less so today?
Oh, there's definitely people, when you're captain, that people are going up for media and you're like, geez, if I say here's free reign or if that's the brief from everyone, you're not sure what's going to come out of their mouth. And there's a few guys over my time.
Go on, name names.
Davey, Maxie, these are the guys that the media manager walks out of the press conference with their eyes wide up and go, not sure that they were going to say that, but it's funny.
Never go full Glenn Maxwell, something along those lines. Lise, what have you made of the whole body language attitude debate?
I think, I guess commentators have forgotten how sometimes cricket can just suck. There'll be a day where the opposition has you over the rope and you're struggling and you're chasing leather. And I think sometimes we forget, whilst we're sitting in the air conditioning in our nice pristine clothes, that it's hard work. And yes, you want to be up and about, and hopefully there's one or two people throughout the day that kind of tags teams, because you can't expect everyone to be up. But yeah, I think we probably just need to cool our jets a little bit and just understand it's a game of cricket. You're not going to succeed.
I think sorry, Finchy. I think the other thing as well, look, this gap between games has come at a time where we're all looking for content, right? So we're looking at every single thing, and Australia's lost. So from the inside, all they'll care about is how they show up come Friday. Right. And I think as a fan and someone that wants to see Australian cricket do well, like we all do, I'm looking forward to Friday, because every single part of attitude, intent, performance, everything that we've been sceptical on over the past 10 days since our loss, or 6 days since our loss, I think they would understand why the Australian cricket fans are being, tough on them. But how they show up Friday is what matters. And that's the sense I get with the players when they're doing the media at the moment. It's like, you know what? We know what we have to do. We know it. We let ourselves down. Whatever's written about us, we've got a cop on the chin. Some blokes, like Travis said, are just going to laugh it off. Other guys might take it. Marnus Labuschagne might take it more personally. The key to this team is how they show up on Friday.
Yeah, and just for me, I think the only thing that, when you're talking about body language and the presence on the field, is that sometimes the opposition can feed off that. You know that when in such a tight game, 150 all out in the first innings, if India sensed that Australia are flat in the second dig, there's times when you go, right, we've got him here. We've just got to hang on for a little bit longer and we feel like we can break them. And that's all it is. That's just, as an opposition, you just sense when a team's down, and then that's when you just really drive it in.
So taking this all into consideration, Pup, how big is this test match?
Well, yeah, it's massive for Australia, mainly to get the fans and the media off their back. And unfortunately, when you play in front of your home fans, it's heavy. You can't get away from it. Going on tour is a hell of a lot easier than playing in your own backyard. There's an expectation. This Australian team's got every player apart from one's over 30, senior players, a lot of class, a lot of knowledge, and we expect them to win. We got outplayed well and truly in Perth, so we want to see something different. So it is a massive test. We've had success in Adelaide in day-night test matches. The boys all know what to do, but it's about doing it. It's about showing up. We want to see them play Bumrah differently. We want to see them bowl differently to Virat Kohli compared to how they did in the second day. You've got to find ways to make change in the game, and that's both individually and as a team. Even Paddy Cummins, I hate to say it, but Bumrah out-captained Paddy in certain parts of the game in Perth. So I'm sure Paddy will want to make sure, let's see what he does if he wins the toss. Bumrah batted on a wicket that looked like it was going to do a bit. I think everybody probably expected India to bowl first. He took it on. He took that challenge on. He was aggressive. That's going to be interesting to see. Paddy wins the toss. What's he going to do? What's the intent going to be like from this Australian team after getting beaten in conditions where we are most comfortable?
Should Paddy be opening the bowling?
Well, with Josh Hazlewood out, he definitely will. I think Hazlewood and Stark are the right combination when Josh is there. He's somebody who pitches it up, attacks the stumps probably a little bit more than what Pat does. So in conditions when the ball's moving, Josh is the right man, but without him there, Paddy will definitely open the bowling.
Elise, we know Josh Hazlewood. Are we really fortunate to have somebody like Scott Boland who has performed the way that he has at test level, and particularly in this pink ball test?
Yeah, I think he's going to be a huge asset. It might be a blessing in disguise as well, just a different face, comes in, gets a chance to kind of get the pink ball moving around and talking a fair bit and causing a few more problems. So he's a guy who's been waiting in the wings for a very long time to get his call up, and he gets sporadically brought in and out of the side. So I think he'll take this chance.
But Mitch Marsh as an all-rounder, he pulled up a little bit lame in that first test and led to Marnus Labuschagne bowling perhaps a little bit more than Pat Cummins would have liked. Can he be picked as a batter only in this test in Adelaide?
Looking at their team, no. I think he's picked as an all-rounder. I think Mitch needs to be bowling. Hence why they brought another all-rounder into the squad. I think if he was just batting, I don't think they'd pick him for this test. I think the other thing they're probably sceptical of is the next 4 test matches are pretty much back-to-back. So they want to make sure Mitch is 100% to take him into this test. I heard him speak the other day at the airport. He said he's completely fine. So the other thing, he's been around for a long time. He's now a senior player in this team. I'd imagine the selectors will back his judgment, but it'll be also seeing what he can do at training. If he's batting and bowling at training, I think it's a no-brainer. He was Allen Border medal last year. He's in pretty good form with the bat as well. So certainly needed, and hopefully he's fully fit and ready to rock.
I don't think he actually bowled yesterday.
No, it was a small training session. He didn't bowl yesterday. We'll wait and see what happens in the next couple of days. And when he was asked at the airport, he wasn't specifically asked about the question, could you bat only? He was asked, are you right to go? He said, yeah, I'm good to go. He didn't say I'm 100%. He said, yeah, I'm good to go. What do you think about this conversation? He's the only Test batter in Australia's top 6 that has averaged over 40 this World Test Championship cycle.
Yeah, so then you've got the decision, if he can't bowl, do you bring Bo Webster in and maybe Marnus Labuschagne goes out? Mitch could go up to 3 or Steve Smith to 3 and you rejig the order. So you've got the all-rounder and Mitch who, like you said, still averaging above 40 in this and the only one. So I think that he's a really important player to the side. I don't think Australia will do that. I think if he's unavailable to bowl, I think Webster will be a straight replacement though. But I'd like to see him play as a batter only. I mean, he's probably, along with Travis Head, been the biggest point of difference in the batting lineup as well, because they're both aggressive, they take the game on, they put pressure on the opposition. So that'll be an interesting selection call if you can't bowl though.
We take a look at India, and it is an embarrassment of riches. Rohit Sharma's had his paternity leave. He's back in action, the captain. Interestingly, though, he chose to bat at 4 in the PM's 11 the other day, not opening, leaving KL Rahul and Yashasvi Jaiswal at the top. Do you think that is maybe an indication that he could bat down the order in this test, Pup?
I think they've just given you the answer, Nez. I think he'll bat at 5 in the test match. I think they'll leave KL Rahul up the top. Shubman Gill looked fit as well. He made some runs, looked comfortable. I think he'll come back in at 3, Virat 4, and then I think the skipper will bat 5. But if he wants to open, he opens. If he wants to bat 5, he bats 5. I think this is where Rahul to work out what's best for the team and go with that. He's actually, in Australian conditions, I can understand if he does bat 5 now that KL Rahul looked good in the first test. He's extremely aggressive. He takes on the short ball. He dominates spin bowling, and I think he'll look to be ultra aggressive to Nathan Lyon through that middle of the innings. So, yeah, I can understand if he chooses to bat at 5, I can see why.
It's a scary proposition, that almost Trav Head roll at 5, and then you've got Rishabh Pant to come off the back of it.
Yeah, and I think especially in a pink ball test in Adelaide, it shows the importance of the new ball. And like Pup said, like it is, if he bats at 5, with a ball that gets a little bit soft and it's tough to get people out, can be hard to score, but they're so aggressive through that middle order. So that will be a fascinating watch, because that team looks a lot better with Rohit at 5, in my opinion. KL Rahul looked the best of the Indian batters in really difficult conditions, particularly in the first innings. So you leave him at the top and, geez, that's scary for Australia.
That's one thing that India does. They acknowledge success, and they don't want to upset the apple cart if someone's done well, because then it doesn't look good. Oh, well, you've done great. Thank you, Nez. We're just going to drop you now because the skipper's back. I think they try and find a way to keep everyone happy. And when you do that, you potentially strengthen your batting.
And I also, it's great for KL Rahul because he's been moved around so much in his test career. For him to have reward for performance, I think is a huge thumbs up. No one cares what I think. No, Pup, what do you think for a prediction in Adelaide? Player of the match and winner, please.
Australia to win. So 1-1 at the end of Adelaide. Man of the match, Mitchell Starc.
Ooh, I like it. He does like a pink ball test.
I was going to say player of the match and Starc.
Cool, Heath.
Well, we've got a Victorian back in the side, so it's Scott Boland on return, Australia win.
And build him a statue outside Adelaide Oval as well?
By the end of the series, he could have one everywhere.
Michael Clarke, thank you very much for your time. We'll chat to you after this second test. Let's hope it's a little bit more positive for the Aussies. Don't go anywhere, because there's already been a bit of silverware one and done this year. So we're going to chat about the WBBL and India up against Australia in the women's. A glimpse at life after Alyssa Healy. Congratulations to the Renegades. You'd be a happy man, surely. The
Very
girls
happy,
in red.
Very happy. They deserve it. I think the whole organisation does. They've been brilliant. Sophie Molyneux as skipper, Simon Helmet as coach. They've done wonderful things.
And Sophie Molyneux actually followed in your footsteps, or should I say head steps? Head where? What did you do?
Oh, she was still wearing her playing cap in the photo at the end. I think that's a nice touch.
You did the same thing?
I did the same thing. I didn't want to wear the champions cap. I think that's a little bit
Gimmicky?
self-indulged. I think I'm proud of the cap that I wore, so I wore it.
Well done, the Renegades. Shorter season. Did you like it? Was a success?
Loved it. The fact that we literally waited till the last game of the league stage to figure out where everyone slotted in the final four tells you it was a good competition. And I think we saw some of the best internationals, and hopefully again we'll see more internationals come out and put themselves in the draft.
Speaking of, Deandra Dotton, a diamond duck. It was not a great moment.
Let's just say it is the laziest piece of running I have ever seen. Like, she is literally dawdling. The angle of the bat that she slides the bat, I'd have to say she probably got what she deserved.
Oh, it's hard for me to comment because it happened to me in a Big Bash game. I dropped one into point one game. And I thought it was just an easy single, jogged through, and Rashid Khan hustled in. And you know how he sometimes fakes like he's going to throw it?
Yeah.
He didn't fake. He threw him down, and then I pretended like I'd hurt my hamstring, so it didn't look as bad. Oh, it's the most embarrassing thing ever. So, Deandra Dotton, I don't have sympathy for you, but I can understand.
Empathy, I think, is the word. So you faked a hamstring injury
Not really,
on
not
the
really.
ground, and then you got to the rooms, and what happened?
I didn't really fake a hamstring injury, but I had a pretty good talking to myself. It was quite aggressive as well.
Bit of a dummy spit.
Oh, absolutely, it was a dummy spit.
We love it. We love the honesty. The women are also playing the Indian team starting tomorrow in the one day. There's no Alyssa Healy. We knew that for quite some time. Is it an opportunity to see what's next for the Aussie girls?
Yeah, I think so. The fact that you've got Georgia Vole, who's come in to play for Australia for the first time, Talia McGrath again, skipper, Ashley Gardner, vice captain. So I think we're starting to see a couple of leaders emerge when Alyssa Healy calls her time on the game. I believe Alyssa Healy's there and training and getting ready because the girls have to then go over to New Zealand to play a 3 ODI series. So she's coming back for that. But yeah, it's a really big opportunity for the Australian team to bounce back after the T20 World Cup as well.
Because she's missed quite a bit of cricket over the last couple of years, and I think that identifying who your next leaders are has a real impact on the group as well. It's not just a drastic change of one day they're there, next day they're not. Once you get into a situation where you can understand and work towards changing over the leadership in time, then it can be a really clear handover and almost a handover period where Talia McGrath might then start implementing some of her stuff while Alyssa's captain as well. So I think it overall just makes for a smoother transition in the end.
I also think because the differentiation between white ball, red ball is a little bit less, given that there's not as many tests. So the leader becomes almost more important as a standalone leader in women. So less opportunity, as you say. Shafali Verma left out of the India squad. What does that tell you?
That they're not willing to carry players that aren't performing. You know, while she's a big star and a big name within the Indian women's setup, I mean, her numbers, she's only averaging 23. Last time she scored a 50 was 12 innings ago, which was back in 2022. And her average and strike rate is not the greatest against the Australian team. So she's still really young. I don't think it's a bad thing that she's dropped. Hopefully it gives her a bit of hunger and desire to get back to the top. But it does show you that India is getting stronger and they can actually pick other players because of the depth that they have.
And also India, they do tend to back in their greats and their superstars, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And I think most teams, the longer you play and the better you've been for longer, the more rope you get when things aren't going well. So, like you said, I think it's not a bad thing at times. Yep. Sometimes the best phone call that you can get is that you've been dropped because you just want, you know that when you turn up to a game, you're hoping to get runs or you're hoping to get wickets, you're hoping to do well. When you're playing well, you turn up expecting to do well. You know exactly what you're going to do. And you can just get in your own head a little bit. So at times when that phone call finally comes and says, look, you're not playing this game, you kick up a bit of a stink, but at the end of the day, you actually breathe a bit easier at night.
Fantastic insights. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take on the short stuff next.
Oh, wow. Sam Constas is doing as he pleases. This prodigious talent, Sam Constas, scores another 100.
The 19-year-old with a century, 107 off 97 in the Prime Minister's 11. Astonishing stuff. Time to take on the short stuff. What does it mean for the out-of-form Aussie batters this summer?
Well, I think it just justifies the position that he put himself in, that Sam put himself in at the start of the summer with a couple of hundreds first up. It's making sure that he's the next cab off the rank if an opportunity in the top order comes up.
Stocks are rising, but he didn't play Jasprit Bumrah. It's a different proposition.
Very true. Marco Jansen, the South African, he has demolished Sri Lanka, who, by the way, were all out for 42. 11 for 86, his match figures. Is he underrated, Lise?
I don't think he's underrated in the world game, maybe here in Australia because we just don't see him enough. But you look at his ICC rankings across all of the formats and his stocks are rising. I think he's like 12, 14, 16. He's only 24. He's going to be better. He's going to be a star. Yeah,
when the ball moves around, he's unbelievable. He's 6'8", left arm swings it and can smack it with the bat. Fields at first slip at times when he's not bowling at it as well.
Tick, tick, tick. Bryden Cast, 10 wickets against New Zealand, a year out from the Ashes. Should we be a bit worried? Should we be taking more attention, paying more attention?
Oh, I think the players would be definitely paying attention. It's a part of your job. Again, I think England have showed a clear indication of how they want their fast bowlers to be for when they do get here into Australia. And it's fast, it's aggressive, it's good fun to watch.
No comment.
Don't care yet.
Don't care yet.
India first, Ashes next year.
Another summer.
Peter Siddle just turned 40. He's decided to sign with the Stars. Are you sure you're done, mate? You've got a couple of years to go until you're 40.
I'm well and truly done.
And so are we. We'll see you next week. This has been Around the Wicket. Thanks for watching.